two individuals who, in different ways, have helped to progress and shape Ireland's sound. First up, we've got Rory Sweeney, a producer, DJ, and quiet but instrumental architect central to an Irish sound tsunami that's crashed down on our island as of late. If you've got a favourite rap track on repeat recently, chances are Rory's had a hand in shaping it, or of shaping the sound of someone who did. Sweeney has become a beloved figure in connecting Ireland's new wave of genre-bending artists, from Courtesy, Ahmed with Love, Sloucho, and Roche. Rory's produced frameworks that's held all of their lyrics, while simultaneously carving out his own sounds that defies easy categorization. From spanning ambient textures to chaotic jungle-inflected breaks, or sampling untapped singers that trigger your favourite rappers to be a men on a mission. Sweeney's signature feels just as much born of gut instinct as it does from long hours, skill, and footnotes. Always stitched together with a chaotic intuition that somehow makes sense, sits right, and hums in your head long after listening. By the time AVA crowned him Producer of the Year in 2023, Rory was already on a sharp incline and up front of a class of artists who are the new mafia of sound. And then we have Dylan Murphy, writer, interviewer, documentarian, parent to the cultural Bible Mabfield, former head of content at District, and longtime steward of the Irish music scene. Always local, always locked in, always asking the right questions. Take one look at his discography and it's clear Murphy does music journalism differently. Instead of a blueprint or charts, the Belfast native uses his own raw and unaffected appreciation for the art that speaks to him as his own compass. With interviews that feel more like conversations in the smoking area, but astute with real stakes. Emotional, cultural, sometimes existential, Dylan has never just reported on music, he's helped define its centre of gravity. Whether he's interviewing people from his mom's house, JPEGMAFIA as he's dodging Dublin traffic, or platforming the wonder kids of online microcultures, it's almost easier to name the Irish, UK, or even living rap icons that Murphy hasn't sat across from than stream off the ones he has. With a poetic lens and an ear for the in-between moments, Dylan's journalism has always steered clear of overhyped noise and headed left of field, toward the buried gold in bedrooms, basements and discords, wherein lies sounds that's messy, smart, rooted, globally aware before your algorithms have even caught on. Between both these gatekeepers, we've got years of curating, creating and questioning what it means to make work from Ireland, what it means to stay, and what it means to leave. From the flirting with mics, stacks and lenses to the value of experimenting creatively and the discomfort of cultural cachet, all hail two godfathers of the Irish music scene. Rory Sweeney and Dylan Murphy.
Oh my God.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
It
Genuinely,
always feels really awkward whenever I read them. I'm like, it's like someone's died. You know what I mean?
You can tell you're a writer, though. That was so well put together.
Wow, thank you so much.
That's very sweet of you. Oh my
You
God, I'm
guys
proud
are
of
my
you,
first pair of guests, which is
Yes.
very exciting. Yeah. Yeah. Local baby twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an old married couple over here.
Yes, exactly. Looking very loved up.
Yeah.
What was the first CD you ever bought? Sorry.
Oh, fucking, what's his name?
He's excited.
Well, it was Dustin the Turkey, Bling When You're Minging. It was like Dustin the Turkey doing like really terrible like versions of Eminem tunes. And then like 6 years later was Arca's album, self-titled album, which is really boring. But
Wow.
I feel like that's the perfect marrying of what you're.
That's 100% what I'm about. It's just like terrifying and like stand up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
The first one I can remember buying, I don't know if it was the first, was like it was 50 Cent Kanye West Stronger, but on the B side of the CD it was Can't Tell Me Nothing. But I remember being in town and I was too young to buy it, and seeing someone else older than me in the same uniform being like, "Oh, here, man, would you go in and buy it for me?" And I didn't know Can't Tell Me Nothing, but I was more excited when I heard it than when I heard Stronger. When I was like in the car and I was like, "What the fuck is this? It's so fucking good."
What a time to be alive.
I know.
And that's the first time you're hearing it.
It felt like more exciting because I didn't know. I wasn't allowed to buy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was so young.
Yeah. It's like forbidden.
Yeah.
Yes. Rory, you've spoken about a little bit before when you were like starting out making music, that there's kind of this magic to the naivety about it. You said when you're starting out, there's a naivety to what you're doing that's absolutely fucking brilliant. You're making really interesting and experimental decisions because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, There's something about like misusing stuff that you just kind of like accidentally create really brilliant music. I think also like music that sounds, oh sorry, I should hold this closer. Music that sounds really like naive in its like presentation and the production and stuff is also just quite big right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or like kind of has been. Like I think about someone like Dean Blunt or something where like I think a lot of his sound is very much built on these really lo-fi kind of messy aesthetics and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So like stuff like that, or like I was thinking a lot about this really good Zora Jones interview that I read before. I don't know if you know Zora Jones from Fractal Fantasy. She's just an amazing dance music producer. But anyway, she and like makes really fried electronic music. But she was talking about her first record is called 100 Angels, and she made 100 songs and then picked 3 from it and put them out as her first record. And she was talking about the first song she made just being so brilliant. And I went back and listened to all the early stuff I made, and I was like, I'm doing the fucking craziest stuff ever. Like I had no idea how a synth worked or how a sampler worked, and I was like recording myself really badly singing and like trying to play chords, didn't know what chords were, didn't know how to play notes, and like just making the craziest sounds ever and getting these mad textures and like really interesting stuff that I've now come back to years later and kind of incorporated into like I want to say the closing tune of my album has a bunch of bits from like of stuff that I made when I was like 16.
Yeah.
Now I mean
Wow.
like not noticeable, but they're kind of like textury kind of stuff, or like there's bits of this bass line that's kind of in there that was what I made when I was younger. So stuff like that, or just pitching sounds really fucking low, you know, because you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then just like creating these mad like
Yeah.
intense body experiences or something with sound, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
I think
rough ones, but
I
yeah.
think with, like when you're more experienced in something, like you know the rules, you almost can get too sucked into following and like also being influenced by other people.
Mhm.
Like I found when I was doing stuff, like the more I was reading and writing and watching people interview, you almost like are trying to emulate certain
Yeah.
things from them. When actually, when I think back to some of the earlier stuff I did, like you're just purely curious
Yeah,
and you're just
yeah.
trying stuff. And I was like, fuck, that was actually really great. And I find the more you do stuff, the more you try to go back to like what you were doing at the start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even though it's
totally.
messy, like
Yeah.
it's so I really think that's a big thing. I think especially more now than ever, we're like so much stuff feels like it's being inspired by like the algorithm, where it's all becoming this kind of like tunnel vision. Like it's everything is kind of very similar, or at least is being it's being designed to work on social media or something like this. When you
Yeah.
do then get people who are just doing something that doesn't fit that mold at all, it stands out a lot more. I just think it's more interesting. And yeah, it's usually a lot of younger people doing the maddest stuff as
Totally,
well.
yeah. We're always talking about like SV hymns and
Yeah,
13
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. Like they're insane, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I think genuinely the reason they exist is because they didn't grow up in like the scene or
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're like 2 boys from like Mullingar or whatever, you know. And
Yeah.
they're like making the maddest electronic music and rap music and stuff, you know.
But
Like,
I think you're so right, and like often the most interesting stuff is people who are completely outside of like, especially in Ireland. I think
Yeah,
like so
yeah,
much
yeah.
of the most interesting music comes from people living on the outskirts or
Mhm.
in places that are not in physical proximity to any sort of scene.
Yeah.
I think also like you know, like there's like certain types of like ways of making music that's really easy to get like rewarded for and stuff like that in
Yeah.
Ireland, and I think people are kind of like pushed that way, just even from talking to friends and stuff like that
Yeah.
who are like, you know, maybe have kind of different ideas of what they want to do, but they're like fitting a certain aesthetic of what like 2FM's after, or what like whatever, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like something like that, you know. I don't want to get real wanky, but there's something very capitalist realist about like
Yeah.
a lot of this kind of music, because it's very much made with this like, you know, like this is, I'm just gonna make this music really practically. I'm gonna make stuff that people like, and that's gonna fit within
Ticking
Spotify's
boxes.
playlists and stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe like I don't know, it's too, I don't know.
Did it ever interest you?
Oh, totally, for years. Yeah. Up until like 2 years ago, I'd say I was like trying to make money from music.
Yeah. But I even think like it's like anything, like to be honest, in the last few months I've grown really tired of making any sort of like, I hate the word content, but like video content, because by design it has to fit certain things for it to work online, to get engagement,
Did
all
like
this
the
kind of thing.
hook, like the
Yeah,
3-second
Yeah.
thing and all
and
that
like
kind of shit. Like
I'm so tired of it. But then the flip side of it is, if you go to write or something like this, there's not really an appetite for writing online. Like people don't want to read. So I feel like I'm in this like weird space where I'm like, I don't know how I want to present what I'm into, but I think it's got to be longer form. Because like you were saying, it's kind of a lot of stuff is just being engineered to fit whatever it is. I think then that's the most exciting stuff comes out of people who are like doing it outside of that, whatever
Yeah.
way it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
yeah.
thinking loads about it with the writing thing as well. It's like so much like music journalism and journalism anyway is just complete fucking slop.
Oh, it's
You know what I mean?
terrible,
Like
terrible.
I've the amount of times I've just seen like a press statement that I've written copied without any changes,
Yeah.
including like dear whoever
Yeah.
this person is. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
And even
that,
seeing like
or
AI
like
and stuff being used.
like AI being used like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That I mean, you know, the hot press article
Yeah, yeah,
like a couple of
crazy.
years ago where they wrote it with AI and it just made no sense. Said that the article said that I produced Doghouse and stuff. Like it just like made no sense. And I was like, anyway, yeah, it's just like there's so, but yeah, especially within the writing
Yeah.
thing, there's so much slop. And like even the writing that I read is all actually pretty long form. Like I think about like
Yeah.
Colm Cahalane and stuff, or like
But
Yeah.
I
or
think
like that young fella now, I forget his name, but I'll do it tomorrow. He's really
yeah,
good.
yeah. I
yeah,
actually started following him on
Yeah.
Substack recently. And I think Colm's doing some really good stuff
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
best, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And I
he
think
is.
it does stand out if you do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's like kind of, like it's actually taking the time to do your own like research and have your own point of view on stuff as well, because you can write very factually about something or use really nondescript language and you can tell that this person doesn't really know. They're just
Mhm.
giving vague stuff around it. Whereas I think the important thing is actually contextualize it and say why it's interesting, or like
Mm.
even who they're collaborating with or what they've done
Mm.
before. Because ultimately I think why I want to do what I'm doing is to get other people, like I really love certain things. I want to convince other people to get into
Yeah.
it. Do you know what I
totally.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing, and you can't do it by just being like, 20-year-old producer did
Mhm.
this and did
Yeah,
this. The
yeah.
song is out tomorrow. Like no one cares. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
No.
to make them care. Create
Yeah.
narrative, like.
Because I think like the role like music journalism plays alongside music now is so different to what it was even like 10 years ago,
Totally,
completely
yeah,
on its head.
The
Like,
Death Pitchfork and stuff.
yeah, I was
yeah.
about to say, like, when you were joining District, what were you like phasing out print?
Yeah, so when I joined, they ended the print and went online. So it was like literally as I
Yeah.
joined that
Isn't that
happened.
crazy
It's
though?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
really interesting.
It's mad. And then, there was still kind of that bloggy sort of thing going on where we would write, and there was still people reading it. And I found that really freeing to be able to just like throw up like, 200 words about whoever it was and just write really creatively about it. But then you start getting into it where it's like, oh, it needs to be 300 words for SEO. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. And then that starts turning into a whole thing. But then within a year, it's like, okay, video content and the whole thing
Completely
changes
on
so
its
quickly.
head.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
labor just like 4 times as much fucking
Yeah.
labor.
Rory, I know you spoke about before, like that COVID was kind of like it kind of put like a roof over Ireland in a sense, like acted as like this like talent incubator. Like there wasn't that many places for people to go. There wasn't really any way they
People
could
stopped
get
putting
there.
music out. As well.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was honestly
But
like, yeah.
but in a way, it kind of seems, at least from the outside, a time when a lot of your kind of gang found each other.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah, I've definitely was that was definitely the case. Yeah, like found MB like early on during lockdown. I knew Pippa for years. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then Kareem I'd known for years, but we'd never found time to actually make music with each other until lockdown, until like the very end of lockdown. And same with Courtesy and stuff, yeah. But what was amazing was that like, because no one was releasing music at all, whenever we put out tunes, like loads of people were listening to them.
Yeah.
Like we really like, like me and like your man, like, like Julie Lou and Ifus and stuff, we put out like a really depraved, like unlistenable, like hour and a half long compilation of like gabber music and noise music, and loads of people listen to it, like which is like fucking insane. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I would, if we released that now, no one would listen to it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like honestly one of my like proudest moments of my life. But I like basically, yeah, it was a really special time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems kind of like collaboration seems like it's very key to both of your like pursuits, like in your jobs and your passions and music and everything. Like even like the artists that you choose to spotlight, Dylan.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that like it seems like is the thread that's common throughout all of your discography, is like that it's someone that either you know or someone that you like the vibe of. It's not because someone's a big artist. It never has been,
Friendship's fun, I guess. Like I don't know. It's just like you can.
You
I
heard
think
it here first.
There's something
Yeah.
about seeing, I think, people who are working together who have like a real chemistry that's like so infectious.
Totally.
And like a lot of my favorite acts ever are like, I don't know, like kind of boy bands or
Mhm.
like groups of people that have come together that have like their own sauce and it brings something to the table. But you can't like you can't cook that up if it's not there. It's something that's very real and it's very tangible. Yeah, I think that's kind of it, and especially like even that first freestyle we did
Oh yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I remember like when it was you, Courtesy,
You heard
Kareem,
us.
and E.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where me and my friend who were doing the podcast were just watching it, and we were just like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because it was so just off the cuff and
Yeah.
fun,
Like
and
magic in
yeah,
real
the
time.
camera's just rolling and these were just going.
Yeah.
It was so
We were having
fun.
a crack. It was good. It was good fun. Yeah.
Because it does seem like community is something that it is special about Ireland in a certain sense. Like maybe that is just from an outside perspective, but it
Yeah.
does kind of seem like all of you kind of know each other. You're all kind of willing to help each other out. Like I even remember seeing on your story earlier in the year that it was like you were making samples available for people to like download off of Google
Yeah,
Drive.
yeah.
or-
All of my drum sounds and all of my samples and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
and like all my sound packs and stuff that I
Mad.
make myself. Yeah.
Yeah, which is sick.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
people gave them to me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was in a Discord server with like a load of my favorite DJs and producers during lockdown, the likes of like Rue Honeychild and Ballybock and like Sin at the time and like Dow and stuff like that, and they just gave me these like mad sample packs of like Brazilian marching drums and like 1989 to 99 jungle music and like just like sounds taken from all of them, and like that's what I've used to make all my music. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it was very much just like I just have to continue it. You know what
What's
I mean?
the
More than-
craziest sound either of you have sampled, do you think?
I've oh well well the funniest one is definitely well yeah I sample loads of ASMR all the time, but like yeah I don't know, you just get just for like textures and stuff, but like I sampled this like there's this far out guy who fucking lost his mind at I played at an Extinction Rebellion rave, which was actually really quite bland as well. Like it was really far away, so everyone was wrecked when they got there, and like and it was like it was pretty tame, and like they had one speaker working, and like it was like quite bland. But anyway, this like far out guy called Anta Boyle saw the poster for the rave and was like was just like the rave was called Morning Wood.
Mm.
And what's it called? Anyway, yeah, he just was like this is this mad like sex cult
Yeah.
of like
Oh
like
yes.
environmentalists. It's
Yeah,
on my album.
I've
It's actually
seen
on my
it.
new
It's
album
on
as
the-
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wondered what that was.
Yeah. He's a terrible person. He's been behind some very bad stuff. But anyway, he's so yeah. I sampled him loads because he names me as well.
And yet, like, there's this attitude, despite like the real culture of collaboration, that once you're doing well in Ireland, it's kind of time for you to go. Like abroad, kind of a tale as old as time. Like I remember seeing an interview that you did with Khaki Kid in like 2022, and you were even talking about it then that like it's hard to blow up in Ireland. I think he was like on the other opinion of it. He was like, you can blow it up in Ireland, but as two
He's
people,
proved it as well.
literally, yeah. Like as two people like yourselves who are very involved in the music scene, very successful in the music scene, how does it feel to see people go? Like to see people go abroad?
It's so stupid. I think it really infuriates me, to be honest with you. Like I think it's ridiculous. Like I mean like I have a real gripe with like Irish people in London who are like talking about like how shit it is in Ireland, and it's like I never saw you at any gig. You never put yourself out of your own, like you never did anything uncomfortable for like the sake of things ever, you know what I mean? And now you've like fucked off to London and you live in like a fucking tiny shack that's awful, and like you're having a terrible time and you have no money, but like you're like you're fucking getting coffees for J Hus. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, I just think it's like so ridiculous. I think like we have to stick around here. I don't know. Yeah,
I think there's people now though, especially in the last couple of years, is kind of showing that you can blow up here. There's definitely not the same infrastructure here as like other places, and it makes it
totally.
more
Yeah,
difficult.
no.
Like,
I'm kind of being an asshole when I say that.
no, but
I know that,
I
you know
do
what
get
I
what you
But,
mean.
like,
No, because it's like it would be more, it would be easier, I guess, or less difficult to have a career here if more people stayed. Like, could you imagine if all the Irish people that ever moved away in the last 10 years were still on the island? Like, how much
Yeah.
more interest there would
borderline
be.
like overwhelming.
Yeah,
thinking about
it'd
it.
be crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
but
And
I
it's
do
such a small surface area
Yeah,
for
yeah,
everyone to be.
it's
Yeah.
nuts, but I do understand like the practicalities of moving away, and like
Mm.
yes, if someone hits the ceiling and they feel like going to London would change things for them, I totally
Yeah.
get it. But I totally take your point about like if everybody stayed here and actually
Yeah.
contributed towards like the ecosystem and stuff, it would make a massive
Yeah.
difference. But
There
you
is-
do need more like managers, labels, NRs for all that other stuff.
Yeah,
as well,
I
Yeah,
was gonna
think.
say, what do you think it would take for those people to stay?
I don't really know. I think people need to be realistic and realize they'll never make money from this. to be
Yeah.
honest with you. But like I don't know. What would it take for people to stay? Sorry, that just reminded me of one thing that
Yeah.
3 very famous Irish artists during lockdown released records called Dublin is Burning, and none of those 3 artists had lived in Dublin for over 5 years. But I won't name any of them. But they're very famous. But no, sorry. What would it take for people to stay here? I mean, I don't know. Like I mean, definitely more venues would just make a whole lot of a difference. You know what I mean? And like, as much as label infrastructure would be really good, it also like brings lots of problems with it. And I'm like, I don't know if that really changes a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really hard to say. I mean, honestly, what would make all the difference if there's fucking houses? You know what I mean? If it was
affordable to live here and create
yeah.
music, because like everyone you know is working like multiple jobs, like
Yeah.
doesn't have time.
every musical like important musical movement has come out of fucking cheap rent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like anywhere. You know what I mean? Like people, or even just it's stuff like the availability of like squats. There's no squats in Ireland. We have really intense anti-squatting laws, but like throughout the years, like how many fucking really famous bands, like the entire punk scene, all grew up in squats. Do you know what I mean? Like so much really important electronic music. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So like just the availability of cheap housing, I think, is really the biggest thing.
Like third spaces as well, kind of is like
third spaces is
like
kind of a thing. Yeah, but I also think like Dublin's a funny place in that in that it's like quite close to the countryside, pretty much wherever you are. You know what I mean? So like, if people were more creative, you know what I mean, and thought outside of the box more. But it takes the big another really big thing is I remember talking to David Connaughton from like Foggy Notions about this, as he was like, you can have the most amazing gig ever on, and like people just won't leave the pub. You know what I mean? Like it's so I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that would be my thing. Yeah.
Even just the change in how people appreciate music and consume music, where it feels
totally.
a lot more disposable now. And in the past,
100%.
people would have been willing to spend a lot of money on buying music, going to gigs. Gigs are quite expensive now for big people that are paying Ticketmaster type shit. But even for cheaper gigs, like for local artists, people don't have that same willingness to buy something in advance. It's always last minute. Like I even found myself doing that today, and I was like, "Fuck, I need to be more organized." Where I'm buying something on the day, and a lot of people then actually will cancel gigs or will feel really uncertain until the night.
Expensive to like put on a
Yeah,
gig.
yeah. And then the other thing is kind of like then the only way that people can afford to do stuff as an artist is maybe doing like branded stuff, and like that can be really helpful getting money from that, but like you don't want to have to rely on that for your whole career. Do you know what I mean?
You're also just producing slop as well, like to it, like you know what I mean, like that's what they're like after.
Well, it depends what it is. Like if it's like just a gig and you're paying for like a brand, it's probably fine, but you also don't want to be beholden to that kind of stuff either.
Yeah.
And yet, like, it's funny because I think like globally, like external to Ireland, there is this kind of weird fixation on like what is perceived as Irish culture right now. Like it's very much having like a moment. I know you had a podcast episode on this recently too, that like there's this hunger for Irishness, like this kind of, I guess what they perceive as Irishness is this like sense of authenticity or so, and whether they like it or not, that's kind of influencing the art that Irish artists are putting out or how people are like taking it in. You know, can you see that? Like
yeah I'd say so. I don't know. I mean, those things are always kind of complicated.
I have conflicting feelings on it for sure.
I definitely like, I mean, kind of like,
because it feels like a very
I mean, I think like I mean, I don't know, I was saying this before, but I don't think there's any real like meaningful critical discourse about this kind of like Irish revivalist thing. So I don't know, but I really don't know actually how to describe what I'm thinking about here in terms of like its influence or whatever. Like
I think there's like a neat idea of what this is, and that's what's always projected, and that's what everybody is. Like there's a lot of people that do have that authentic connection to what that is, but I feel as though there's other parts of being Irish that are not part of that discourse or part of the imagery of what that is. And like even for example, like I don't think the story of being from up north is part of that.
Right.
For sure.
Do you see that? Do you see that anywhere?
Explain that more. What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Well, like I think it's a lot more complicated for people, and like the stories about like how there's intergenerational trauma and like the mental health problems and stuff that come out, and like even just the I don't know the like war that went on, like that kind of stuff influences so much more going on, and because of that, there's I guess different imagery, different stories that aren't really platformed in the same way. And that's equally
Yeah.
an
Also
Irish
just
story.
also just down south, like people just don't know fucking anything.
Yeah,
No.
Like,
yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
about
it's kind of
that up north.
insane.
I mean, we had like Section 31 or whatever. We had like 30 years of censorship of pretty much anything to do with the north. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, but like, yeah, so it's totally different. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Just,
and
just to add to what you're saying.
it's not like I'm trying to say that has to, I don't know, be projected in a way that's part of popular discourse, but it's more, I just think
Just
that
influences
story,
things,
or
like, yeah.
like story of, I guess, like immigrants coming here and their story, like it's only, I feel like in popular mainstream it's only a certain type of story that fits
Completely.
a narrative that wants to be projected.
Because I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. Even like both of you speaking about like, working different jobs and all that kind of thing. Like I think the issue a lot of people have with it sometimes is like, oh, from the outside, it kind of flattens the whole Irish experience and kind of commodifies it into this
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
really shiny thing. And
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
like,
I
oh, like that's not what's going on at all.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
I think broadly, I think the entire art world for the past few years and recently is kind of very identity, like trauma focused art. You know what I mean? And like it doesn't really allow, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
like like I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And not that that's a bad thing. I like I love loads of that. You know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's
'Cause
like
see, that's
that's
the
what's like
thing.
feeding it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
To me, or
you are
something,
kind
know?
of like, oh, these people who want to make this kind of art, they shouldn't be prevented from getting their bag. If someone's receiving it and they're like,
Yeah,
oh
totally.
my
No,
God,
no,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
gorgeous green hills of
Yeah,
Ireland.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
how bad?
It's more
Yeah.
just like having more things coexisting.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and for sure there are artists, like big artists, that are talking about these things that I'm talking about, but it just doesn't
Absolutely.
feel like maybe a lot of it is getting the same kind of spotlight. I mean, to be honest, there's not really many platforms to spotlight music in Ireland,
Yeah,
full
yeah,
stop. But
yeah,
like,
Yes.
it just feels like a disproportionate amount is given to, like, I don't know, like kind of basic iterations of what it means to be Irish. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
yeah.
I think Irish people also just love like really dumb, like love looking at videos of like Horan explains what this means, what the difference between Irish people and Americans, like, you know what I mean? Like the Irish people are like really self-obsessed in this intensely boring way.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
so,
That's like super
Yeah.
super like I don't know how to describe it. But
It's so true because if you ask
we
like an
deserve a
Irish,
telling off, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not good.
Actually, Dylan, you have a podcast out with the 10th Man called I Was There, where you take listeners behind the scenes of some of music's gigs that change the course of music. What's one of the best gigs you've ever been to?
That I've ever been to. I was actually telling someone a story the other night. I don't know if I told you this story before. Like, I was at Glastonbury like about 6 years ago, and I was absolutely dead after just drinking loads the day before. And Adele was headlining, and it's not someone I would normally go and see, but I was like,
She's hired.
yeah, like I was like, I've got to go and see this.
Yeah.
And I was in a group with like 20-ish people, and I would say I knew like 6 of them, and it was just a big fucking group of people that had all kind of conjoined together.
Yeah.
And I was only like sipping beer from a cup because I was so hungover. And during the show, I was like, this is incredible, and it was kind of like speaking to me, and I was like, God, I did not expect to enjoy Adele this much. And she then went into Someone Like Me, and I was like, I just want to reach out and touch her. Long story short, someone spiked me with a pill during Adele, and I started coming up during Someone Like You. So someone in this group.
Amazing. I mean, it's spiking obviously.
I think if I wasn't having the best time of my life, I would have hated whoever did it. I mean, I never found out who did it, but it was one of those surreal experiences where it actually, until I realized what was happening, I thought I was like having a spiritual moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I want to reach out and touch her.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I feel like I've had loads of spiritual moments with Adele, like that's hard as fuck, like.
But so every time I hear it, I feel like I'm coming up again or something. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that is really intense fucking hell.
Okay, it's time to jump into a game, a classic game of Hot or Not. I'll say a little words to you two.
Gonna get cancelled here for
Yeah.
sure.
And you can tell me whether you're for it or against.
Okay.
Because if you're a very special guest, normally I do this with people's names, but putting a pun on both your names is proving trickier than I expected.
Okay.
So if you think it's hot, you can say, that's what I call music.
Okay.
And if you don't, you say, turn that damn music off.
Turn it
Okay.
off, yeah.
Okay, cool. Cereal. Really?
Turn off that rag. I haven't had cereal in like probably like 10 years.
Yeah, I crave it
Really?
though.
Every now and again I crave it. I feel like every 3 months, like every like season, I'd be like, fuck, I'd love some cereal. And then I have cereal and then I'm like, and now I'm done. Now I've had my
I
fill.
was like, oh, if I get cereal, it's gonna wreck my whole day. And I'm like, then I just will go out and just drink loads and do loads of drugs for like a weekend. And then I'm like, oh, why
It's
did I
all
feel
the
so
cereal.
Yeah, I'm an
I had a
adult,
bit of cereal
man.
this morning, like when I was hungover. I was such an idiot. Like, it wasn't the 1,000 beers, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Music videos.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I call music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
he said.
What's your favorite music video? Or that's a real horrible
So
question.
many really good ones.
Yeah.
I love Miss Jackson by Outkast. That's like one of my
Mm.
favorite ones ever.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's so many classical ones. One that I just remember from childhood loads is the Bronski beat Small Town Boy one. It's just really beautiful. It's like
Yeah,
really beautifully
yeah.
shot. Those TV cameras from the 80s just like make everything really soft focus and
Yeah.
capture light really beautifully. Just because it's really sweet. That Alchemist song about his kid.
What song is it?
It's literally, it came out like last year and no one's heard of it. Like me and Gav are like the only people I know who's like heard of it. But like it's like, yeah, it's a song about
Is he
just
rapping?
he's rapping and
Yeah.
he's just taking his kid to Bluey's house.
Oh.
And it's like really cute. But
Yeah.
it's like, it sounds like it would be the corniest thing ever, but
No,
Alchemist is like
cute.
actually such a good rapper. Like,
Yeah,
he knows
yeah,
his
he is
lyrics
actually really
really
good.
And the video is just him just taking him to Bluey's house and just like playing around and throwing balls at him and stuff.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh god, I'm gonna forget such a fucking banger, but like anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, best music video of all time. Fuck it. I Can't Believe the Way We Flow by James Blake. It's like so intense. It's like the most
You love James Blake.
Yeah, I know.
I know what you were trying to say. You didn't like him earlier as well.
I don't really like him.
No, that was his last good album. That's what I'll say.
Boy bands.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you touched on it.
Yeah.
earlier. Wouldn't have put you as a mega boy band dude.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I even put something. I think I put on my close story last night. Have you seen Laundry Day? That they're like they do like meme kind of videos, and they got really famous for doing it online. But they're actually a band. They would do these like, like false, or they do like the like funny singing versions and stuff, taking the piss. But they're actually like a band. I was like, oh, they're actually a band, and they put out this teaser last night for a song, and I was like, this is hard as fuck, and it's like kind of like a Justin Timberlake type vibe.
Deadly. That's
Really, really cool. But I'm like massive. I was like a massive Brockhampton fan. I like boy bands when I was younger. Kind of. I love I love all that stuff.
Boys on Westlife are fucking hard as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
go deep into the records. They're like tunes. Are so
Even like NSYNC are kind of cool.
NSYNC
And
were really good. Yeah.
Each 17 had that Christmas banger.
Yeah. What's so funny about the boy band era, I always think of it as like, that was like a time when like you were just like a hot guy and you just walk into a room and a producer would just play a song.
It's
and
you.
would just re-sing the lyrics that another person had written.
Yeah.
And just get really hot publicly.
Have you
Like, it's
seen
like,
the
that's such a-
Boyzone documentary?
No,
love
I've heard
that.
it's pretty crazy though.
Yeah, it is pretty great. Be prepared to cry.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
like
Oh, wow.
real tears.
Yeah.
I'm surprised like you didn't really get that boy band vibe going. You courtesy in Kareem at
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah, I was
There's
kind.
still
Well,
time.
it was never a thing we solidly talked about. Well, me and Kareem and Courtesy were at one stage. We were like, oh, we'll do a trio, but like we could have formed something at some stage with like whatever. the fucking 10 of us that there was. But
Yeah.
like, kind of really glad that we didn't, because I think it kind of invites a really stupid kind of comparison.
Yeah.
And like, as in like. People who are like, rap fans are like, why the fuck is this like Rory and Darnasia making this weird electronic stuff? You know what I mean? They fell off or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Mustaches.
Absolutely not.
Turn that music off. Yeah.
It's
Have you
like
both
fucking walk the
always-
other direction, call your friend.
Have you called your friend? You're in danger.
You are in danger.
Have you
And if you're not in
always been
danger, you're
rocking one?
Since just before COVID, I started
Yeah.
growing it, but I literally couldn't grow facial hair, and then I shaved it off because it looked terrible, and then it just grew back really quick, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sick.
What about
Sick when
you,
that happens
Rory?
is the same with me. No, but mine during lockdown probably was when I started growing up, but I have fucking huge unibrow.
Yeah.
And no one
I
notices
was
it anymore.
I was
No one
admiring your
notices-
brows.
No, no one notices it anymore. People like genuinely like everyone would like make fun of me loads in secondary school. Like no girls thought I was hot when I was a teenager, and I was like, oh my god. And then I got a mustache, and then I had a girlfriend, and I was like, this is amazing. So like,
It's the secret sauce there.
Yeah,
secret
yeah.
sauce. I actually just enjoy having it though. It's kind of silly. I guess.
Yeah,
but-
it is. It must feel kind of silly.
Oh,
like,
it totally
does,
is kind of
yeah.
silly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can if
Um,
it's really long, you can like
yeah.
just do really
when
silly
you're
stuff with it.
thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like I would look like a child if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a big part of it for me.
Okay, that brings us up towards the end of the interview. But before you go, I'd love to stop at your local. So I have to ask, what's your local, baby? Dylan, do you want to go first?
So I wasn't sure to do, because I've only moved to Dublin, so whether to
Mm-hmm.
do a Dublin one or a Belfast one. So I'll do the Belfast one first. It's just a very specific spot. It's the best sun trap in Belfast. It's like the back seat in the John Hewitt, where there's just like a line of sun that just hits it, and everyone's always scrambling to get it. But when you actually get it in the summer, it's just like divine. It's unbelievable. For Dublin, I think like I don't know if I'm allowed to like the back garden of the gaff I'm living in is just so nice. Like
Wow.
it's
What a
small, but
Where do you
gorgeous
live?
take.
I'm living Ranelagh, Rathmines kind of area.
Nice,
Like
yeah.
it's like my housemates haven't really been around recently. They're all away at the moment, and I've had the house to myself. Just like
Get the
Stunning.
dogs out.
yeah. Oh, get the toes out for the boys.
Just
Like
stroke your mustache.
Yeah.
My brother showed me a really, really good Japanese barbecue off O'Connell Street. That's really cheap. Every dish in the menu is £3. And like
Oh.
I got like a really nice cucumber salad there and like mad meats and like all sorts of smoked meats. It was incredible.
Sorry, stunning.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
that
called.
should
I
be-
think it's
that
called like
should be your local
Japanese.
baby.
Yeah, Japanese BBQ or whatever.
Yeah.
It's huge as well, so lots of people can go to it. It's
What
great,
would
yeah.
you What would you be getting?
Just anything like it's like everything's like £3 on the menu, 2 or 3 quid. So I just
Yeah.
get like
Sorry.
4 or 5 things. Like
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nuts.
Fine.
imagine anything being costing less than £5.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of such a mad thing. Like
yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. This has been
Sick. This
has been
stunning. and
class, yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah. Do you want to pick a track to play us out?
What about your new one?
Yeah, right.
With Ross
Yeah.
and,
What are you doing?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah?
What a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I was
Okay,
just thinking
amazing.
that.
Gorgeous. Thank you.
Yeah.